So last month I made a video about going through my backlog of video games. So a month has passed, so how much of my backlog did I actually finish? Well, I'm proud to say I've played 2.5 games. So right out of the bat, one of the games I played that was on my backlog was the newest Suicide Squad video game, but I'm gonna have an entire future video dedicated to it. It's currently in production, it's being edited by my amazing editor, so that's gonna come at the end of this month. Other than that, I also started Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. I'm currently around like half of the game, and I'm really having fun. So yeah, I'm gonna play Jedi Survivor after that. It's also on my backlog. But other than that, there's one game that I did pass, and that it took me close to 6 months or 5 months to beat it, and that game is Callisto Protocol. Didn't expect that. That was kind of cool, wasn't it? Now, Callisto Protocol. I started to play that game somewhere, I think on October 31st of 2023. The game is a year old, and I always wanted to play it because it seemed so amazing. Like, if you take a look at it, the graphics, the animation, the overall presentation, the atmosphere is close to perfection. Like, this game, you can see that this game was made by industry veterans that like know what they're doing, and this game, the whole look of the game is beautiful. I played on the PS5, and I specifically was playing it on the fidelity mode. I usually like higher frame rates, but I wanted to experience the full like graphics, all the ray tracing effects, because they really do change the atmosphere of the game, and it was worth it. I didn't even pitch about 30 FPS single time because the animation, the motion blur is so well implemented that everything feels so smooth and looks just so freaking beautiful. The gore is also just jaw-dropping, literally. And the monster designs are pretty disgusting. Like, there are straight up penises that attack you. Like, I don't know if I'm gonna show it because honestly I don't want to look through the footage. I'm lazy like that. But holy moly, like, there are so many penises. And as this gal, I usually like penises. And as this gal, I usually like penises, but not that much. But yeah, if you take a look at the game, the base is there. Like, the base, the main like root, the canvas is there to make an epic, like instant classic horror game. But unfortunately, they kind of didn't stick the landing, and the rest of the game starts to fall apart once you play it. Boo! Now, that little jump scare I just did wasn't scary at all, but it was still scarier than anything that happens in this game. Now, for a game that has such a intense atmosphere with such like visceral gore and just feels like a horror game, I wasn't scared at all. I played this game during the depth of night, and not even once did I see a room and be like, oh, something's gonna happen. When there was intense encounters, I wasn't scared at all. Now, granted, I did play on this betterment mode, something that's what it's called. Like, when you deal enough damage to enemies, they lose their limbs, which makes them a bit weaker. I read that the normal mode, like the combat, just takes such a long time, and it's just annoying. Just go left, right, bang, bang, left, right, bang, bang, and just do that for hours. So it gets a little bit boring. And I read that this kind of speeds up the combat, and it makes it, visually more interesting, so I decided to play like that. So that might have been the reason why all the intense parts didn't feel as intense, honestly. But then also, like, as you go through the game, you start to get more weapons, and the ammo isn't scarce at all, so maybe you need to play on harder difficulties to get that intensity, but still, the sheer fact that the game itself is not scary, and it's a horror game, it's like intense, that gritty, intense horror style, when you see like a horror poster and you're like, yeah, that's horror, yeah, that's there, but the scary parts are not there at all. And then when you take it to look, like, the lore itself is honestly not even that interesting. Anything you see here, like in terms of lore and backstories and how this virus came to be, is not that much interesting. The only interesting part is that it's set on one of Jupiter's moons, and then at some points you get to look at the Jupiter, and it's just mesmerizing. Other than that, everything you've seen in this game you already seen 10 times before, and it's very surface level basic stuff. They plan to make sequels, probably, especially after the ending. You would think so, because, well, the ending of this base game ends on a huge cliffhanger, so you have to get the Final Transmissions DLC if you want to have a complete ending to the story. And now the ending itself, I like. A lot of people bitched on it. I'm not gonna spoil it here in case you wanna play it, but if you do know the ending, I do like it because it's the only interesting and plot twisted thing that happens in the entire game. So I was like, yes, more of that, please. Other than that, the game is very predictable, story is meh. By the way, one other topic, I hate the fact that they force you to, not just like, this DLC isn't just an epilogue, it's a full-blown ending, yet you need to play this DLC if you want to get the entire story. And me personally, I actually haven't played the DLC, it's still on my backlog. I only watched the ending, like the cutscenes, because I was like, I don't want to like drop $15 or something, or $7.5 on sale, just to get like ending that I should have gotten. So I'll probably buy it sometime down the line. But in one of these other videos I'll mention, hey, by the way, I actually played Final Transmission, but yeah, just the fact that you have to get it kind of sucks, because usually these story DLC should be extensions. Like for example, God of War Ragnarok Valhalla DLC. If you just play Ragnarok, you got it. By the way, that DLC is free, and it's just kind of an epilogue that adds to the story in general. It just like continues the story, but the main story of God of War Ragnarok is over. So yeah, I do not like that. Now, as for the characters, they're fine. I like them. They're pretty cool, but you don't get to explore them all that much. They're very surface level, like how you met them at the beginning, that's how they end up at the end, and they don't develop all too much. There are some interesting moments with the main character, like literally like 2 or 3 in this entire like 7-8 hour campaign. Also, the campaign isn't even that long, so the kind of like the substance isn't there as well. As far as I know, this game didn't cost like $70, I think it cost 60. I personally got it on sale, so not too mad about that because you at least get some amazing eye candy with the graphics. But yeah, all in all, I would give this game a 6 out of 10 because again, it took me 5 months to finish it. I was playing it on and off again. I started in October, so it's like October, November, December, January, February. Like I finished the game in February. It took me 5 months to finish it, 4 months, whatever you want. So yeah, that's a big tell. Like if a game, not because of life, I had a lot of time. I played like I don't know, so much Spider-Man 2 in that time. But like whenever I had to play Callisto Protocol, play 10 minutes, be like, this is done, this is too much, I'm already bored. So yeah, the base game is there, the idea is there, just like the story and the characters need way more refinement, way more depth to them, and well, the combat, I guess, could also use a bit of a rework, although I do kind of like it, just kind of needs more interesting stuff, you know what I mean. So yeah, Callisto Protocol, I'm gonna give it like a 6 or 6.5 out of 10. Why not? Like you can see that a lot of work went into this game, but it's just like somewhere along the way it was like, well shit, we're kind of running out of ideas. But yeah, that was my February update. So yeah, out of 218 games, I beat 2 of them technically, and I'm currently beating a 3rd one. I'm not gonna finish this in 5 years, am I?